Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday to you, and welcome into the Friday edition of the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Got our good friend back, Wade Bennett, Uncle T-Bone, whatever you're going.
Football season's back, Brett, and so is Uncle T right here every Friday. Brought to your. We're just going to jump right in.
Just dive on head first.
Not Wickles Pickles this year. They're out. Sensa Green's in for air that's cool and clean. Call Sensa Green. We'll have a segment every fall
that kind
on
of
a
rolls
Friday.
off the tongue.
That's
pretty
right.
Good, so.
And I wanted to kick it all off by being back in studio. I mean, Football season's here. Practice has started.
Well,
recruiting's rolling. Polls are dropping out. I mean, Toe will be hitting leather this month.
There's no doubt. And, media days for high school have been going on. I've been at those the last couple of weeks. And you're right, just a few weeks away from getting started. Auburn started fall camp a couple days ago. We got a lot that we want to cover today here. A lot of quotes from Coach Freeze, kind of where he is after the first couple of days. And, some observations, some early observations on some guys. A lot of excitement. We'll look at the depth chart, kind of how it plays out right now. Maybe get a glance at the schedule since you're here with us. Get your thoughts on this past weekend in recruiting, which was one of the best weekends, Wade, I can ever remember in Auburn history of recruiting, as far as garnering that many top-ranked commitments in one weekend. Our good friend Jason Caldwell will be on the show with us the last segment today, So you want to stay tuned on that as Jason Caldwell from 24/7 does an outstanding job, been on our program really since day one as a good friend of ours. He'll break it down as well. I'm looking forward to hearing from him. Big time chance to grab another huge commitment tomorrow in Smith up in Thompson, the number 2 player in the state of Alabama. Auburn already has 7 of the top 10 in the state of Alabama right now. He's the only uncommitted player in the top 10 right now, Wade, and he'll make a commitment to somebody tomorrow, and it looks like everybody has him going to Auburn. All the crystal balls look like they're leaning toward Auburn. And, his teammate Anquan Fagan's committed earlier this week, which was another huge pickup for Auburn in that class. So, hey, look, what went from couldn't find Thompson High School with Brian Harsin, now we've got a pipeline coming out of there.
Well, I mean, it was just so frustrating, not just with Harsin, but for Auburn fans for years, going back really to late 2006 and 2007. I call it the Nick Saban years now, where he basically stuck a fork in Auburn's in-state recruiting.
He did.
And feasted off the Tigers and feasted off the best talent in the state of Alabama. And that's how he rebuilt that proud football program. He started in-state first. He had a fragmented first class in 07, or at least fragmented time. They still signed 25 people that year.
Very similar to Freeze coming in.
Very similar to Freeze. Had a little bit more time because Freeze had to deal with the early signing period. Only had about 3 weeks, while Saban, traditionally back then, signing day was in February.
That's right.
He got here late in 06. So he had more time to build some relationships in state. Luckily, Freeze already had some, and in Mississippi and in the South, giving an advantage to him coming in a short time period. But that second class that Nick Saban had in 2008 just dominated the state of Alabama. Out of the top 20 players that year, Auburn had 1, and he never even made it to campus. It was a running back out of, I believe, Daphne. And after that, Nick Saban put a fence around the state, took the best talent, and then expanded nationwide as Alabama's program started rolling under him. What better blueprint, Brett, to follow in rebuilding a program and a depleted roster than his?
Well, it's where you have to start. And I've been to a few functions this summer and heard Coach Freeze talk. And just a few weeks ago, he said, look, we make this state a priority. It is a priority. I mean, we want to go out and get the best players everywhere, but we've got to get our fair share of best players here in this state, and we got to win this state. And look, Alabama's got the number 2 recruiting class in the country, number 1 in some services, number 2 in others. We've got the number 5 in a couple of services, number 6 in others. That could only go up probably tomorrow after we add Smith, who's the number 2 player in the state. But the point is, there's multiple ways of going about getting to that number and getting in the top. You've got to recruit in the top 3 to 5 if you want to compete for national championships and conference championships. And I don't mean just 1 year out of 5.
Right.
You got to do it every year like Georgia and Alabama does. And,
right.
and Coach Freeze in year 2 really has Auburn where they need to be. But if you look at Alabama's recruiting class and you look at Auburn's recruiting class, you know, this is the first time I was on Gary Harris's show this morning in Tuscaloosa. And, you know, I said I don't ever remember Auburn having the potential to have 8 out of the top 10 recruits in a class in the state. And then you look down and Ohio State's got the other 2 and Alabama doesn't. That doesn't mean that Alabama's not doing well, because they are. They're ahead of us. But they're getting 3 or 4 from California. They're getting from Ohio, from, you know, New York. And that's great. And Alabama can do that. They can go cherry pick where they want. Auburn right now has to concentrate at ground zero, at nucleus, at Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. If Auburn can get their fair share out of those 3 areas, and then a sprinkling out of Mississippi and, you know, and whatnot, maybe 1 or 2 out of Louisiana, that's where Auburn's content. Auburn historically, Wade, their better teams are when Auburn wins Alabama and Georgia.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, the traditional recruiting grounds for Auburn are the state of Alabama, especially trying to get down into southwest Alabama, Mobile and Baldwin counties, or put out talent for years. South Georgia, from Atlanta south, North Florida, and a little bit into Mississippi, and a touch into Tennessee. I mean, Auburn can make a fine living doing that. Some of the best players in college football are there. By no means is Auburn this staff came in day one and wanted to position themselves, Brett, to be the go-to for relationships in the state of Alabama, especially for when Nick Saban retired, and he retired a little bit sooner than I think what people thought he would. So they've had a year and a half, almost 2 years now, to develop high school relationships here, while the staff across the state, although there's some people on that staff like Freddie Roach who've been around, they still got to, you know, it's still going to take some time. So Auburn's taking advantage of that situation, getting as much talent in state. Yeah, Alabama's got a fantastic class. I think that what's bothering Alabama folks out there the most about what Auburn is doing is, I heard some Alabama people say, I wouldn't trade our class for theirs, but guess what, guys? For the first time in a long time, I wouldn't trade ours for yours either. And these players that aren't going to Alabama in the past were going to Clemson, going to LSU, going to Georgia. Now they're coming to Auburn. If, you know, it's a long way till signing day. If that holds true, that just makes Alabama's life much tougher.
Well, Auburn's got to win, and they've got to win now. And look, to be able to keep the momentum, look, you can only buy, you know, what somebody's selling you for so long if you don't see results. And Q Freeze is selling the dream at Auburn. He's selling the opportunity, and Auburn's got the facilities. They've got the backing. They've got the money. They've got everything you need. They've got a rabid fan base. Everything you need to win a national title, to be a top program. We've already shown that. But you got to be consistent on the field, and that's where Auburn has not been able to capitalize when they've had good teams. Wade, the 2010 team, then you go 11-12 and look like crap, and like go to the bottom, and then have to build back up. Then you get 13, and you know you ride a wave there, 13 and 14, and then you kind of go back into mediocre land, and then you get back to 17, and you're knocking on the door, and then you drop off in 18 and 19. You know, Alabama and Georgia has been able to sustain success. They've been able to build on top of success on top of success, and that's what these recruits want to do. If Auburn comes out and wins 8-9 games this year and they look really, really good and they're competitive in the losses that they have, then the players are going to buy in. They're going to say, look, yes, I can go there now and I can help get Auburn where they need to be. And but if Auburn comes out and lays another egg and goes 6-6, you're going to see some of these guys that are committed now say, you know what, it's the same old junk. I don't see any difference. It's the same old let you down, build you up, can't come through when you need to. And they'll
same old Java.
Well, I mean, that's what it'll be.
Yeah, it's Groundhog Day all over again.
I mean, and if I'm a kid out there and I'm a top-ranked recruit and I go down to Big Cat Weekend And yes, the environment's great and it's fun. And man, you love the camaraderie. You love the family feel and how comfortable you are. But when the season rolls around and it looks like, you know, Ned and the third reader every other week, you know, I mean, then that's, you're not getting done what you're saying. You're not putting your money where your mouth is. So
right.
Auburn has got to, and we talked about it on the show this morning. Right. Auburn has to be 4-0 going into Oklahoma.
I agree with that.
They have to be 4-0 going into Oklahoma.
And listen, believe it or not, Auburn fan, that's going to be a little bit tougher than you think it is, because California has 15 returning starters, and
right.
Jaden Ott, who was running all over us until he got injured last season,
right.
they've got a coach that is a heck of a defensive mind. They're going to want to come in here and make a statement. It's going to be a little bit tougher than you think, but it's very doable as well. One of the most doable schedules I've seen in my fandom in Auburn history. It's manageable. I think Auburn can do it. I think there's a different mindset moving into year 2
right.
with Coach Freeze and this staff. I'm a huge DJ Durkin fan. It's not just the roster turnover, it's the coaching roster turnover. Auburn's upgraded across the board. Let's just be real clear here. Auburn's put a lot of talent and a lot of resources around Peyton Thorne. It's going to be up to him whether or not this program wants to move forward quickly this year.
There's no excuse for Peyton Thorne, a veteran quarterback with the new tools he has around him, with a much more enhanced, more in tuned offensive line and one of the best running back rooms in the country, to not perform. He doesn't have to be perfect. He's got guys that can go make plays in space. You don't have to make 10-point precision passes. He's got athletes now that can go out there and make plays, but he's got to control and command the offense.
No doubt about it. I think he can do it. I like the mindset, though. Freeze said he doesn't want to talk about last year anymore, and I don't either. Let's move forward and let's get going.
That's exactly right. All right, up against our first break. Don't go anywhere. Just getting started right here on the Auburn Blitz.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at BamaSheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
The good guys at Alex City Marine are ready for your boating needs all summer. And now you can get up to $4,500 in rebates on our huge selection of new Landau Tri-Tunes and sacrifice pricing on remaining 23 models. Alex City Marine also has a new fleet of rental boats for fabulous days on the water, whether it's service, new pontoon selections, or rental boats. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road in Alexander City or online at alexcitymarine.com.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Let's get serious. Let's get Arctic Air serious. You want your car and truck to live longer, don't you? Well, it's about maintenance. Same thing with Arctic Air. You see the number at the bottom of the screen? Call them right now. Let me tell you something. You want to be comfortable? We all want to be comfortable.
Are you ready to save big on a new Chevrolet?
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet for the Chevy Summer Drive. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox, discounted up to $6,000 off. Or powerful full-size Chevy Silverados are up to $14,750 off. And fuel-efficient Chevy Malibus up to $5,750 off. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz here on this Friday afternoon. Glad you joined us out there. You can call us and be part of the program, 256-234-6221 if you would like. Got some comments coming in on Facebook. John said, do y'all think your average 4- and 5-star would rather win or be drafted high to the NFL? Obviously, everyone wants both, but if you made them pick, which would you think would pick? And I would think get it drafted to the NFL, because that's the ultimate goal for a high 4-star, 5-star type players. Their ambition's not to go get a job like me and you. They want to utilize their God-given talents and their abilities to go try to make it big in the NFL. Now, I'll say this, John, in conjunction with that, and Wade, I'll get your thoughts on that. Most of the time, if you're a 4- or 5-star player, you're wanting to go to a program that you feel like and a coach that can get you to the NFL. You want to put yourself in the bet. That's why Nick Saban was so good. Is that the proof was in the pudding. You know, the reason he had guys stockpiled back there waiting their turn is because he kept rolling one NFL player after another out in high draft picks. So they were willing to sacrifice and sit a year or two to get their shot at going in and taking their turn. So Auburn can get 4- and 5-star guys, but at the end of the day, my personal opinion is that a top 4- or 5-star guy, their ambition is to make the NFL regardless of where they play.
I think that this staff's proven over time at other places, the entire staff, that they can get guys to the NFL.
They can. I mean,
and without, if you can get players consistently to the NFL out of Ole Miss,
and they got
you're going to get them consistently to the NFL out of Auburn. Now, a little bit of that's the chicken or the egg, though. I mean, if you don't have the 4 or 5, the more 4 and 5 stars you have, the better chance you have of developing more players to go to the NFL.
Right. All right. So when you go online, and we'll keep your comments coming in. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to call us, 256-234-6221. Again, reminder, Jason Caldwell on the last segment of the show today, so we're looking forward to that. He's been in practice the last couple of days. I've already got some of his notes that he sent, and we'll talk about that. But the one thing that I noticed when you go online and you look at pictures, you look at video, you look at what this team looks like, and Coach Free said this, we look different. And when you look different, you play different. And the first quote that he said about practice a couple of days ago was, I love the work we put in the offseason with our strength and conditioning for our staff and our players. To me, that's where it all begins. Can you get out there and do you look the part? Can you compete physically in this league? And right now, when you even look at our freshmen, and you just even mentioned Malcolm Simmons from here in Alexander City, and Malcolm's always naturally been a physical specimen, but, man, he's even enhanced. And you look at Cam Coleman, you look at Perry Thompson, man, these guys don't look like freshmen.
No, Malcolm Simmons, look, I've seen plenty of video of him. I never got to see him play in person, and I saw a picture of him at practice this morning that was online, and I was stunned I mean, this is no news to everyone around Lake Martin, but the kid is built like a freak.
Yeah.
And to say that he was only a 3-star, just looking at his frame, I mean, goes to show how much talent is in the state of Alabama.
And by the way, his Instagram handle is Freak of Nature.
I mean, he
knows
it.
it.
And then
He knows it.
But there's name after name and picture after picture. You see guys that got here in the spring that have been in the weight room. You see guys that have been here a year now, like Lane Gaines,
yeah.
and they
coming off a knee
they
injury,
look
you know. I mean,
different. They look like not only have they been putting work in, they've been putting the correct work in. They've obviously all been in the weight room. And dare I say, that a lot of these people that I've seen, especially on defense, look like the type of player that I see on Saturdays when I'm watching Alabama, LSU, and Georgia's defense.
you know,
And that's what it takes. Look, you said it. You have to consistently recruit in the top 5 or be pushing there to have sustainable success in college football. Nick Saban's not going to win all the championships he did at Alabama by being ranked 20th in recruiting.
No.
As great as a coach as he is, if you don't have the players, you don't have a chance.
That's exactly right. And when you got the best players, it enhances and then you add good coaching on top of it, it almost makes you it's almost impossible to beat you. And that's why Nick Saban won 11, 12 games every year.
You got to have a ball bounce funny here and there, and they did. I mean, think of how many other games they could have won.
No doubt. Most of the time when they got beat, it was somebody had to play out of their mind.
It was an anomaly.
Well, that's right. So that tells you what kind of program that he built. And again,
you got to get the talent in there, and you also have to develop them, and you have to have a process to do it, whatever that process is. And I think what you're seeing at Auburn is a guy in Hugh Freeze that knows Nick Saban very well. Dare I say they're friends?
Right.
I know they've played a lot of golf together.
They're very good friends. No,
why would you not look at that blueprint if you're Auburn and be like, his first 3 years or so, he really focused on the state of Alabama. His 2 classes in 8 and 9 had 47% the players that were committed and signed with them from Alabama. You know where we are in Freeze's last year's class in this one? 46%. There's good players here. Just because Auburn's staying more regional doesn't mean that their class is any worse off than anybody else's. All I'm
you're
saying
in the top
is,
5. The top 5 is the top 5 class.
Times have changed.
Right.
Auburn's doing it differently. Alabama's doing it differently.
And Ole Miss is doing it differently.
Which one's going to be more sustainable? They
Right.
both can be, and they
Right.
both may be. But you know what? For long-time folks, how comfortable are you if you're an Alabama fan, seriously, and you've been around this state for a very long time, and you're seeing Auburn knocking it dead within the state of Alabama? You're a little uncomfortable.
Well, I've talked to a couple Alabama fans that are friends of mine, and I prefaced this the other day, not Luke, but some other guys that I'm friends with, that they don't like it, man. And I wouldn't either. Look, it's no different than when we went 15. Well, we went head-to-head with Alabama for 15 guys in 08 and didn't get any of them. So, I mean,
do you think I liked it living in Auburn when Reuben Foster and Rashawn Evans went to Alabama?
No.
No, I didn't.
That should tell you, and look, you're not going to land guys in your backyard every time. But when you lost premier players that are in your back door time after time after time like Auburn did, it was the handwriting was on the wall. You can spin it however you want to spin it. They didn't think they could go to that program and do the things that they could do at Alabama, and they didn't. And they made the right choice. I hate to say it. It pains me to say that right now. But, and as mad as we were that they left and went up to the other side of the state, they made the right choice for them.
Would they make that choice today, though?
I don't know. That's the question.
That was then.
That was
then.
then.
This is
There's
now.
no doubt about it, brother. No doubt. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-52
4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters. Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing is the #1 auto and boat detailing company in Central Alabama. Don't trust your boat or vehicle to just anybody. Hire the professionals. Top-of-the-line ceramic coating, detailing, gel coat restoration, and paint correction gives you the options to take care of your vehicle the right way. Located at 702 McCarty Road in Dayville, Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have you riding in style. Call them today at 256-794-2328 for Superior Automotive and Boat Detailing.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone. Auburn Blitz here on a Friday, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores at J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Glad to have Wade Bennett with me today here on this Friday. Going to be back with us on Fridays during football season, not necessarily in studio every Friday, but by phone for a segment. And that segment's brought to you by Sensagreen.
Yep, I'll be on a segment every Friday. I'll be back a couple of times though throughout the fall. I love being in studio with you, Brett, and everybody, especially when Andy's here as well. He's enjoying a day off, but all that is brought to you at radiofreeauburn.com. That's my website, by Sensagreen Heating and Air. Folks, for air that's cool and clean, call Sensagreen.
There you go. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Ed said, Brett's right. Most of these top players are so confident they believe they are game changers and will be drafted regardless of the school. NIL and playing with other great players, which are normally buddies, are most important. So, you know, again, these relationships, you and I were just talking about it. You know, Auburn, again, it's funny to watch when you do break into a school like a Thompson, where Auburn has not had any success, and you know, players have been going to Alabama or going to Clemson or wherever, and Auburn's really not been in the hunt. Now they're, you know, looking like they're going to get, you know, 2 or 3 of their top players coming out. If Auburn does land Smith tomorrow in a commitment, you got Anquan Fagans, you know, you just get that pipeline rolling, and it just starts a snowball effect. And, you know, guys want to play with guys they're comfortable with and other guys that they feel like are going to help enhance what they do. Like, if you're the Lone Ranger, like Cam Coleman, for example, and everybody's like, well, how are you going to keep all these guys happy? Well, here's the deal. If Cam Coleman's the only receiver on the team and can catch a football, then teams can shut him down. As good as he is, he'll get a catch here and there. But if he is the only guy that can actually go out and run a route and catch a football, then he ain't going to catch many. Because you know what? They're going to let these other guys, they're not going to cover him as well. And they're going to bracket cover Cam Coleman. But now you add Malcolm Simmons in. Now you add Bryce Kane in. Now you add Perry Thompson in. Now you add in Lambert Smith from Penn State and Robert Williams from Georgia State and, Sam Jackson from Cal and all these veteran guys. Now all of a sudden, and then Rivaldo Fairweather coming back, who was the leading receiver last year. Now all of a sudden, where you had one target, you got about 7.
You know, the game's changed so much too, Brett. It used to be like if you had a stable of running backs, how are you going to keep all the running backs happy?
Right.
Now it's receivers. You want to have as many receivers and DBs as possible because of the spread offenses. So there's plenty of opportunity to showcase your skills at any offense really in college football now. I mean, there's players all around the country that come from small schools that end up in the NFL. But did you say bracket coverage? Maybe we could have done that with Brock Bowers last year. All right, we're moving on.
How about just put somebody on him? Hey,
I think they did.
Well, the last drive they didn't because he just ran open. But, like you said, let's not bring up old stuff.
I know what you're saying, though. It used to be, I'm going to be the guy. NIL has been a great equalizer for that.
Right.
And there's plenty of opportunity in college football at all sorts of schools to showcase your skills. So if you got something cool that's happening on campus, Hugh Freeze and this staff, especially in the Deep South, have made it a lot of fun to come to Auburn, and let's change the narrative, and people are buying into it. Will that maintain through the season? I think it will this year. I'm not saying that Auburn's going to the college football playoffs, but if Peyton Thorne gets his act together fully and stands up to be the quarterback we think he can be, this team could be dangerous.
Well, let's see what Freeze said after the first couple of days. I'm going to go through these pretty quick, and I'll get your take on it. He said, just pulling some of these out, Freeze on Auburn's recruiting efforts. Sitting here today, our plan of what we wanted to accomplish in the 25 recruiting class is on track. Guess what he didn't say? Is where we want it to be. He says it's on track. Means it's still in motion, that we're not finished, that there's still – big fish out there for Auburn to land. So, how high can this recruiting class go? We'll see. I thought that was important to see. Free says, he and his staff met over the past couple of days about how to protect certain players in terms of non-contact jerseys and practice habits. I think that's important. Some guys are more injury prone than others, and you got some guys coming off some injuries. You need to be as healthy. Look, you're going to get banged up in preseason camp.
Right.
But you got to protect and have your team as healthy as possible going into the season.
Another example of how the game has changed and the philosophy of football has changed. In the summer times when we were coming up and practices started, you just dreaded it all summer until it got there because it was the 2-a-days. Heck, Pat Dye had 3-a-days for his first couple of years, and they were out there trying to kill one another. You protect your assets
not happening
in
now.
College football now.
You go out there and somebody hits Cam Coleman low, or somebody runs out and lays Peyton Thorne out, after the whistle, your practice day's probably done.
If somebody takes a cheap shot at Cam Coleman, I'm gonna come out of the stands and find him.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, don't be doing that. Steve said, what are the deciding factors for a recruit now? For example, is NIL 70%, playing potential 20%, the school 10%? What would you put percentage-wise on that? I think it's different strokes for different folks.
Well,
I really do.
I do think, in a way, NIL does get a bad rap. There are still plenty of kids out there who grew up a rabid fan of a school and want to
Right.
go there, or they're very serious about getting a particular type of education moving forward, even if they are a great talent. For example, there's a school now at Auburn that's teaching people how to be pilots through Delta. That's a really cool thing. How many other schools are there? Have you ever really there are plenty of athletes that want
Right.
to be a pilot. But for the most part, I will say NIL and exposure for high-level players to the possibility of being in the NFL and can you get me to that next level, it is probably the most feeling comfortable with that, your family feeling comfortable with that, your grandmama feeling comfortable with that, is probably, I would say, on high-level recruits, 60 to 70% of it.
Well, you're trying to make hay when you make hay, trying to get the most money you can. All right, here's Freeze on Peyton Thorne. He said, Peyton is starting to learn my mindset, and it showed in a meeting Thursday morning as Peyton identified an issue with a passing concept that we were studying. He goes, I expect to see him at this age of his career to know my mind and to know the adjustments to get us in the best possible scenarios. That in itself is what you want to hear.
Listen, Peyton Thorne's been in college longer than Brother Bluto from Animal House, right? I mean, if he can't get it by now,
not going to get it.
He ain't ever going to get it. So I like to hear that. I do think another year in the system with better weapons around him. Brett, I think the over-under last year on drop passes that were very catchable were at least 50 for the season.
Oh, yeah, man. It was...
So you get way under that. You make a couple of catches, just a couple more in the Iron Bowl, it's over.
Yeah.
You don't even get
How about
down
just
there.
don't drop a punt, dude?
There you
Thought
go.
You said you weren't going to bring up old stuff.
I'm
You
an
keep
Auburn
going
fan.
back.
Well,
So-
I will say this. A year in the system, a spring in the system, another summer in the system, surely he's got it by now.
One final quote before we go to break. Freeze on Perry Thompson. He said, I'm thrilled. That's what an SEC receiver should look like. That's what you should recruit.
The kind of guy's
So,
just getting
yeah.
forgotten because he wasn't here
Well,
this spring
yeah,
with
he's-
Bryce
he's-
Kane and all the transfers and Cam Coleman. Huge get for Auburn.
Massive.
Could he be the Tigers' Julio Jones type recruiting
We'll see.
commitment that changes the trajectory of your program?
We'll see. We're up against another break. When we come back, we got a lot more to come right after this.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
The only thing real in this video is the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. This restaurant, it's a green screen. The ground I'm walking on, it's a treadmill. Me? I'm not Mr. Beast.
I'm Chandler. Go get the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. It has Feastables.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
The only thing real in this video is the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. This restaurant, it's a green screen. The ground I'm walking on, it's a treadmill. Me? I'm not Mr. Beast.
I'm Chandler. Go get the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. It has Feastables.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Couple segments left in today's show. We'll go out a little early on this segment to get add a little time for Jason Caldwell here at the end of the show. But want to remind everybody to go by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine in Auburn. If you haven't done it, man, you're missing out. Some of the
place is awesome.
It is unbelievable. Yeah. And today's special. Picnic basket special. Chicken Caesar wrap or buffalo chicken wrap with 2 sides, choice of broccoli, salad, pasta salad, and slaw for $16.99. I don't know why you wouldn't just go by and just pick that up and head off into the weekend.
You can barely eat at a fast food place for $16.99.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, dude. I'm going to go by on East Glen, Pepper Tree Steaks Wine in Auburn, and out in Pepper Tree in Montgomery. Been to both stores, awesome stores, great food. Can't get enough of it.
Yeah, that steak seasoning they have in there is unreal.
Unbelievable.
It's unreal.
And if you're in the Auburn location, go get you a tiger tail when you can, if they're not out of them, because they go very quickly. Don't just, I'm not going to go into detail. Just go pick it up. But anyway, Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Just a little blurb here from practice today.
Here we go.
Malcolm Simmons was the best receiver this is some of the guys that are watching practice, said he was beating people in one-on-ones, knocked down Caleb Wooden, and beat Jaron Thompson across the middle.
That guy started at Texas last year.
Yeah, and had a pick in the Alabama game last year. So
this is what I'm talking about with the talent in the state of Alabama. I just don't think that it gets the credit that the Texas and Floridas and Georgia's of the world
per
get.
capita, numbers-wise, quality-wise, we don't have the numbers of Texas and Florida and California, but quality-wise, we per capita, we put out just as good.
Malcolm Simmons coming out of high school, probably about the 15th ranked, 18th
He was
ranked
15th.
in the state of Alabama. 3-star.
Right.
And you're already getting 2 days into summer practice of his freshman year that he's he's looking about as good as anybody out there. Player, folks.
Man, and then again, he's like third or fourth rolling off people's tongue talking about because everybody can't.
Yeah, the freeze 4.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I can tell you, and I can personally attest to this, knowing Malcolm, is that that's secretly driving him. He loves his teammates. He wants everybody to be successful, but you know what he wants? He wants his name to roll off everybody's tongue first, not fourth. So he's going to go out there and he's just going to do what he does. He's going to let his talent take over and prove that. All right, let's talk about potential first-team offense and defense, and just kind of how it maybe looks right now based off of skeleton on Thursday. It was Thorne at quarterback, obviously, Hunter and Austin switching out at running back. You know, so you shouldn't worry about Jeremiah Cobb. Jeremiah Cobb, to me, overall skill set wise, to me, may be the most talented of the three.
Right.
With hands, ability to be a power runner, and a guy that can run finesse. I think Hunter and Austin obviously have worked their way up for a reason, but don't sleep on Jeremiah Cobb. Auburn has three legit options back there. All right, tight end, you got Fairweather and Frazier and Riley Ducker. The offensive line is Lewis, Wade, Lou, Wright, and Miller, and then receivers we saw starting were Coleman, Lewis, and Lambert Smith.
I think a name you need to keep an eye on at tight end as the season moves on is Rico Walker, the transfer from Maryland. He's a beast. You're going to see Riley, one of the backup tight ends, a lot at H-back. You're going to see a lot of different formations this year because there's so much talent to work with than you saw last year. Actual multiple tight end sets where people aren't just blocking, but threats to create mismatches. There's a lot more toys to play with at Auburn right now.
Love it. Got to have options. All right, one more segment coming up. Jason Caldwell next with Auburn Undercover. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
At Majestic Caverns, we believe in the power of unforgettable experiences. At a cool 60 degrees year-round, America's most historic caverns guarantees an enjoyable escape. But it doesn't stop there. With over 20 above-ground attractions, including 5 new ones this year, and our Cave Cafe, which offers delicious drinks and plenty of food options. And don't miss our exciting event, Libertas. On June 29th, July 6th, and July 13th, enjoy live entertainment and much more. At Majestic Caverns, your unforgettable adventure awaits.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Announcing Camping World's Inflation Buster camping program. You can now get into a new RV starting at just $98 a month. We won't let the economy steal your camping season. Take advantage of this very limited time offer and lock in your low monthly payment today.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, Display your drive and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Catch a ride, not a buzz.
Hey, can you come get me?
Being buzzed still counts. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Back here on the Auburn Blitz on this Friday, last segment brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Let's go to the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline and welcome in our good friend Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover. Jason, thanks so much for joining us on this Friday. Man, there's a ton to talk about, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Obviously, day 2 of practice just wrapping up. We just finished, and they started, I think, about 9:30 this morning, so we got to see a few minutes of practice today and then talked to some players after and did some of those things. And so, yeah, wrapping up day 2 of practice. Obviously, recruiting has been wild the last few days and weeks for Auburn. So, yeah, there's a ton going on as you get ramped up towards towards the season. And hey, we're in the month. We're in the month of football, and heck, I think I'm less than 2 weeks away from the high school football season starting in Georgia, which is crazy to think about, but they'll actually have games going here in 2 weeks in Georgia. So got a whole lot going on for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's try to get through as much as we can here in this last 10 minutes. Jason, let's go backwards first. Last weekend couldn't have gone any better. I think maybe you've even exceeded expectations, and it trickled in to this week. And then just talk about that and then the potential of tomorrow with Smith at Thompson High School adding his name to this class.
Yeah, I would say that I feel pretty good about Jared Smith as we stand today, for Auburn. And if you do that, you're talking about 8 of the top 10 kids in the state of Alabama, which is pretty remarkable to think about. The job they've done with this coaching staff and making Alabama a priority. That showed up last weekend in Big Cat. And not only was it 25 guys, but the 26th class, and starting to get those guys rolling, moving forward. They just understand it. It's just completely different. And it's really different than it's been in a long, long time. Gus Malzahn, those guys did a good job and recruited well. Gene Chizik at times, but it hasn't been like this, where it's a concerted effort and it is a system to go out and recruit the state of Alabama, recruit these guys, and make it a priority. And it's showing up. So I think it's been pretty darn strong so far.
Jason, staying with recruiting real quick, the last time Auburn snagged a Notre Dame commit / recruit at quarterback from the state of Mississippi, he led the Tigers to a 2004 undefeated season in Jason Campbell. What about Deuce Knight over there? What's the latest on him, and are Notre Dame people worried?
I think they're probably a little worried when you start closer to home, first of all. So I think that when you start going there, that's always a concern. And so then I think you look at the recruiting class that's being built and the class they brought in last year, especially from a quarterback perspective. You look at Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, and Bryce Cain being on campus, and then you start to go, okay, we're looking for that quarterback piece. Now, Walker White's here, but it's just like every other position. The more guys you have at those positions, the better off you are, because you want to create as much competition as possible. So Auburn has made Deuce a priority. I've said last couple of weeks I thought either him or KJ Lacey would be the quarterback in this class for Auburn when the dust settles. We'll see if that happens. But I know Deuce is a guy that they made contact with. Derek Nix has known for a long time. A lot of Mississippi connections on this staff, and I think that's big for Auburn.
One final thing on recruiting. You guys, Auburn number one class in 26 right now out of the gate with 5 commitments, picking up 3 of those during Big Cat weekend. But reassigning rankings, one local kid here, another Benjamin Russell product, and Sedarian Morgan in the 26 class got bumped up to the number 1 player in the state, Jason.
Yeah, Sedarian's the guy that obviously I think when he was a freshman the first time we see him and you go, man, that guy's going to be special. And then you saw him last year and you go, man, that guy's going to be special. And then the work he's put in I think knowing now that he's a football guy, and he's always been a basketball guy, and he'll be a good basketball player, but knowing the football side of things, and now, okay, that's who I am, you see the difference in his body and his physical play, and he's been really strong this summer. I've seen him a few times. And so Auburn is in a good spot early on for him. Obviously a long way to go, but those connections and having Malcolm down here, I think, is a big deal for Auburn early on in the process.
Jason, moving over to the roster, everyone talks about the development of Thorne and Jarquez Hunter coming back and how special he could be, and Rivaldo Fairweather, and of course, all the freshmen that came in, especially the Freeze 4. Out of the transfer portal, give us a name on both offense and defense that you see will make a massive impact this season early on.
Yeah, obviously you look at offensively and you start going wide receiver, but I'm going to go off the path a little bit. And I think Sam Jackson's going to have an impact on this team. And I think he's a forgotten guy because he was a quarterback at Cal, and he didn't have the numbers that other guys have, but he is a dynamic, explosive guy, and him and Peyton Thorne have known each other their whole lives. So I think he's a guy on offense that's going to have an impact. Defensively, Kieran Crawford, I think the Arkansas State edition is going to have an impact for this team as a pass rusher. I think that's the fit. Obviously, there's a lot of those defensive line guys, and if you could find a Rakes or a Bleedy, one of those guys, to really jump out there, that'd be huge for this team. But I like Crawford. I think he's a guy that's going to bring something. So that's probably my two guys.
Yeah. Follow up that real quick. Sorry, Crawford. They're saying on. I don't know. Y'all don't get to look at a lot of practice, but some of the reports are they're going to have him on the field with Falk and move Keldrick Falk inside on obvious pass rushing ground. So that's going to give the Tigers a lot of pass rush from that side of the line.
Yeah, well, I talked to Montreal King Williams for video 2 weeks ago, I think, and he's like, hey, we're going to slide Keldrick inside. And then he said, it's not just going to be on passing downs. Keldrick, he just walked by me, and I think he's about 288 right now. I think, certain teams, certain situations, he may be on the field on first down on against some teams as a pre-technique defensive tackle. And, if the teams are spreading the field out, maybe that's not going to be a downhill as much. So, yeah, there's no question that Keldrick is a guy they're going to move around. You got Crawford, you got Jalen McLeod, you got a lot of other bodies out there that are guys that will have a chance to really step up and make some plays. But they're going to, as Montreal told me, he said, we got a rep chart, not a depth chart. I thought it's the greatest thing I've ever heard, because that's how you win on defensive line, is by getting reps and moving guys around and not worried about who's first team, that guy getting all the reps. They're going to roll guys up front on defense, and I think that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, good teams do that. Good teams build depth, and they just roll guys in and out about every other snap if they can to keep people fresh.
That's it. That's the key.
Well, let's end, Jason, with the secondary. I know there's some concern. Auburn lost some pretty key components, but they've got a couple of key components coming back, and then you add a Jaron Thompson in there. Of course, Keontae Scott's the veteran back there. Kind of talk about the secondary.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, it is what it is. You're not going to have teams and rosters that have experienced depth across the board. You're going to have some issues where you're going to have some young guys or new guys step in because of the transfer portal, because it's hard to keep enough guys around for a guy to be a redshirt junior and step into his role. So now J.C. Hart, Antonio Kite, the new guys on this roster are really talented. Obviously, it's second year for those guys in terms of playing. J.C. Hart is as physically gifted as any DB Auburn's had in quite a while. I mean, he gives you like Jamel Dean vibes, 6'2.5", 210, and running, in the 4.3s. I mean, he is flat out crazy athletic. Those types of guys in the secondary, Caleb Harris, Sylvester Smith, all those guys that are first or second year guys in the second, they're more talented than the guys Auburn's had the last few years. Just how quickly can they grow up, and maybe the schedule helps them get to that point before you get ready for the Arkansas and Oklahomas of the world.
Jason, good stuff as always, brother. Really appreciate you taking time to join us on Fridays. I know you got a lot going on right now, and we're about to rev it up. So we look forward to talking to you every Friday, okay?
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
thanks so much. Jason Caldwell with Auburn Undercover does an outstanding job covering the Tigers in every sport. Real quick, kind of shifting off of football, or actually before we go, Wade, Jared Smith set to announce tomorrow, 6'6", 235-pound edge rusher from Thompson High School, the number 2 player in the state of Alabama. By all indications, going to commit to Auburn if something doesn't change drastically. That would give Auburn 8 out of the top 10 in the 25 class. And then
Could there be a 9th?
could there be a 9th? Maybe so. We'll see. And then one basketball note, A.J. Dabonsta, the number 1 ranked player in the 25 class, has narrowed his selections down to 7 schools. Listen to this: Alabama, Auburn, Baylor, Kansas, Kansas State, North Carolina, and Utah.
Well, he's out there at Utah Prep right now.
Right.
He's kind of bounced around as some of the top talent, especially in basketball, does.
But there's Alabama and Auburn. This is not football. This is basketball.
I mean, it's unreal what has happened within this state, not just with those 2 programs,
man.
but you put UAB and South Alabama and
Oh, Sanford. Good Lord.
Sanford and Buckyball. I mean, a basketball hotbed in the deep South.
Could have
state
been
of
this way a long time ago, but priority was placed on Now you can have multiple priorities.
Well, we got a long ways to go to basketball season, but
Yeah.
we'll be here before we know it.
That's
Thanks
right.
so much for having me.
Wade, always good to see you.
Thank you to Sense of Green. Check them out, www.senseofgreen.com. We'll be back every Friday for a segment and in studio some this fall.
Looking forward to it about that time. That's going to wrap it up for the Friday edition. We're glad that you've joined us. We'll see you next week for more Auburn Blitz.